Every time I walk into the gym, I see the same mistake repeated over and over again. People who say they want to build their bodies actually train like powerlifters. They chase numbers, not development. They test strength instead of stimulating growth, and they wonder why they look the same year after year. I'm not attacking powerlifting. It is a great sport and I respect it. But it is the sport built around one single goal, and this is lifting maximum weight in a single effort. But bodybuilding is completely different discipline. It is not about how much you lift, but how you lift. And it's not about records, it is about the result in the mirror. And this is why I did this video, because I want to make it crystal clear that bodybuilding is not powerlifting. We have different objectives, different principles, and different mindset. If you train like a powerlifter, you will become strong. But if you train like a bodybuilder, you will become shaped. I'm Dr. Nash Jocic, former bodybuilding champion. I competed 46 times and won 17 titles. I have been in bodybuilding over 40 years. And during that time, I have trained personally over 3,500 clients and helped them to get in the best shape in their lives. I have also published 10 ebooks, which are all available on my website. And if you want to access them, all you need to do is to click on that link down in the comments and you can get them. My ebooks are fully loaded with explanations about everything you always wanted to know in bodybuilding: muscle growth, fat loss, training for beginners, nutrition, lifestyle change. Everything that you always wanted to ask is answered in my ebooks. So let us dive into the subject now. What bodybuilding really is. So bodybuilding means exactly what it says, is building the body. Every rep, every set that we do is actually driven into that particular goal in order to build muscles, to shape up the body. The aim in bodybuilding is not to lift the weights from point A to point B. It is to use that weight to carve the muscle. As Arnold once said, bodybuilding is like sculpting clay. You add and subtract until you have the shape that you want. So this is basically a perfect definition of bodybuilding. Power lifter asks, how much can I bench? And bodybuilder asks, how can I make my chest thicker, fuller, rounder? So powerlifting rewards leverage and a total neural drive, but bodybuilding rewards precision and muscular control. Now there are different goals and different methods. So let us look at the objectives. When it comes to powerlifting, goal is maximum strength in one rep. In bodybuilding is muscle hypertrophy and aesthetics. Primary stimulus in powerlifting is mechanical load, and in bodybuilding is mechanical tension, metabolic stress, which is very different. Now when it comes to rep range, powerlifters do anything from 1 to 5 reps, and bodybuilders train with 5 to 15 reps, sometimes even over 20. When it comes to rest, powerlifters rest 3 to 5 minutes, and bodybuilders rest anywhere from 30 to 90 seconds. Now, focus is very different. In powerlifting, it's a technique efficiency, and in bodybuilding is actually muscle engagement and fill. Outcome from these objectives is in powerlifting is strength numbers, and in bodybuilding this is muscle size, shape, and proportion. So powerlifter learns how to use his body in order to move that weight efficiently. A bodybuilder learns how to use the weight to challenge the body inefficiently, to make the targeted muscle to do as much work as possible. So you see, this is a very, very big difference. In powerlifting, the body is the means to achieving the goal, which is lifting the weight. In bodybuilding, it's completely opposite. The weight that we use is the means, and the end, the goal is to build muscle, to shape the body. So these two principles are extremely important to remember because they're completely opposite. So, for example, when a powerlifter doing bench press, all that he thinks about is how much can I bench, how much can I lift. While in bodybuilding, We are doing it differently. We think, how can I do slower eccentric repetition? How can I control the motion? How can I perform this set fluidly without stopping at any point? How can I sustain 10, 12, maybe 15 reps? How can I stretch that muscle fully? How can I keep constant tension? This is bodybuilding. And this is very, very different than powerlifting. So when it comes to the science of stimulation and execution, from a physiological standpoint, muscles grow from three primary mechanisms. So number one is mechanical tension, the muscle under load through its full range. Second is metabolic stress. This is that burn, the pump, the accumulation of metabolites that we experience. And also there is muscle damage. This is microtrauma repaired by protein synthesis. So these are three primary mechanisms that drive muscle growth. So powerlifting emphasizes mostly the first, which is mechanical tension with heavy weight and long rest. Bodybuilding manipulates all three factors simultaneously. It seeks the optimal load, not the maximum load. And this is why Vince Gironda said it brilliantly, that bodybuilding is not weightlifting, is all about muscle contraction. So if you focus only on external load, you activate mainly your nervous system. So if you focus on internal contraction, you activate the muscle itself. So when you see lifters celebrating their personal record by looking exactly the same, you should remind them that they can get stronger without getting bigger. But you cannot get bigger without stimulating muscle correctly. So there is another subject that I want to talk about, and this is the danger of ego lifting, which is attached to powerlifting. So ego is the silent killer of progress. That bar doesn't really care about your pride. It only responds to physics. So physics doesn't build muscle, but biology does. So how many times have you seen somebody doing half reps with so many plates, shaking, trembling, hip bouncing, back arching, and calling it intensity? This is what is assumed to be intensity for most of the people. But this is not intensity. This is basically insecurity. Sergio Oliva once said, I don't care what is on the bar. I care what is in the mirror. So when it comes to building shape, building muscles, bodybuilding, we can understand clearly that it's not about how much you lift, but how you lift and what do you get out of it. I often say that people are performing this ego lifts in order to achieve something, and that accomplishment is more or less much easier than to sculpt your body. You can get stronger very quickly, but you're not going to change your body. You're not going to look different. For changing your body, for shaping up your muscles and putting that in some required proportions and aesthetics, obviously, that takes years. And for just getting stronger, you can get much stronger and lift much more weight in deadlift or bench press or squats without even changing a bit. So you will remain the same for years, but your strength will go up and up and up, regardless of your muscular stagnation. So strength and muscle building, they are two different things. Now, when it comes to the role of form and the range of motion, it is important to understand that powerlifting optimizes leverage. Basically, bodybuilding delivery, give it up. So what that means? That means that powerlifter will do everything in order to lift that weight from point A to point B. So for example, doing squats, you can see a powerlifter putting his feet wide apart, wide stance, going down, going up, back forward, bar somewhere halfway on his back. And once he is up, the job is done. He has lifted the weights and he may have won the competition. This is obviously relating to 1 rep max. Now, bodybuilder is doing something completely opposite. So the stance is narrow, feet are not too wide apart. The tension is kept on the quads. the body stays as straight, upper body as straight as possible. And the reps are many. They can be up to 20 plus in order to stimulate that optimal growth and offer all three different stimuluses for muscle growth, like overload principle, mechanical tension, and also metabolic stress. So basically this type of training is very, very different. So we have the same exercise, but we have completely opposite goals. And this is why so many people who go to the gyms and hope to develop their bodies, to shape up and build muscle, they give up quickly because they realize this is a very difficult procedure. It's also very complicated, very intelligent, and requires a lot of effort and passion and consistency. So not only training, but also nutrition. So when you put everything together, this is a massive burden. And they can feel immediately within a few months that this is not going to happen quickly. But then they shift towards lifting heavier weights because this is all of a sudden some kind of accomplishment. So they can quickly lift heavier, let's say from 100 to 150 kgs in deadlift, or from 80 kg squats, they can go to 120, literally in months. And that sounds is an amazing progress. It's obviously justify and glorify on social media. They do clips, they film themselves, and they are happy because they have achieved something. They moved heavier weight from point A to point B. Great, but you know what? Training like that, you can forget about muscle growth and developing yourself as a bodybuilder. Now, when it comes to recovery and nervous system, powerlifting taxes central nervous system while bodybuilding taxes muscle tissue. So powerlifter might train 3 to 4 heavy days and take long rest periods because his central nervous system needs time to restore. On the other side, you have all these legends of golden era like Arnold, Oliva, Nubred, and they train every day, almost twice per day, because they never exhausted their central nervous system as much as powerlifters do. And they have achieved bodies that powerlifters can only dream about. So if you are a bodybuilder, you need to focus on that type of training that will allow you enough recovery of your central nervous system so you will be capable of training maybe 5-6 times per week without any problem. But if you're training like a powerlifter, this is not going to happen. And it's not going to happen anyway because you are doing less sets, you're doing less reps, you're resting too long. So this powerlifting stigma and fashion that is now completely taken over the gyms, it's a completely wrong way if you want to build your body, if you want to shape and sculpt your body and develop obviously proportionate and aesthetically pleasing physique. When it comes to the cultural confusion, I have to say that today the line between two disciplines is blurred. If you walk into any commercial gym, you will see people doing exactly as I mentioned, low rep sets, screaming, bouncing the bar of their chest, and then wondering why their arms, chest, or legs don't change shape. Social media has turned training into a theater. Every clip that you see that people follow is popular needs a big number and noise and expression of pain. But these numbers on the bar don't really impress biology. The body only understands stimulus. So powerlifter's goal is measurable. You move the weight that you lifted, record is achieved. Now, bodybuilder's goal is visible. It's proportions in roundness and symmetry. So the problem is that many have started judging the art of bodybuilding by the metrics of powerlifting. As I said, it's much easier to move heavier weights within a few months, but it's much harder to build great body in few months. It's not going to happen. You need years and years of dedication, consistency, and especially knowledge. So bodybuilding also, you have to remember that it's not about performance, it is all about transformation. So let me tell you something now about the reconnecting with the real purpose. If you truly want to build muscle, this is what you have to remember. The goal for building muscle is tension, is not weight. The stimulus has to reach the muscle, not just your joints and tendons, which actually happens in powerlifting practice and movements. Reps should be smooth, continuous, and controlled. In powerlifting, they are not. Rest should be short enough to keep the blood in the muscle. So shorter the rest, bigger the stimulus, especially metabolic stress. In powerlifting, the athletes rest 3 to 5 minutes, but in bodybuilding, this is completely opposite. As Vince Gironda said, you don't count the reps, you make the reps count. So this is again another beautiful comparison between bodybuilding and powerlifting. So you don't count the reps, it doesn't matter. You make the reps count. So guys, next time you step into the gym, ask yourself, are you there to lift weights or are you there to build muscles? If your goal is strength, then lift heavy, perform powerlifting exercises in the way that they perform, rest long between the sets, do few sets, very few reps. But if your goal is to shape the body, to build a muscle, to create a balance and visual transformation, then train like a bodybuilder, because these two roads are very, very different. So powerlifting is one sport, and bodybuilding is another. Bodybuilding is not measured in kilograms, it's measured in character. It's about mastering yourself rep by rep, day by day. When you learn this difference, every session will become art. And that is when you will finally stop testing your strength and start building your muscles. And this is why bodybuilding is not powerlifting. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and send me your comments. And also let me remind you again that I have published 10 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed information about everything you always wanted to know in bodybuilding, like muscle growth, fat loss, competitive bodybuilding, training for beginners, nutrition. And also check this video in which I offer my other services. Actually, I'm offering you possibility to work together one-to-one with me. And this is the way that I can personally help you get in the best shape of your life. So until the next video, I wish you all the best.